Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole, and it's by user Throwaway69. Am I the a-hole for telling my daughter she can't use her college money on her boyfriend, which caused her to break up with him? I know that the title paints me as the total a-hole, but please hear me out. My 47 female daughter Sarah, 18 female, is a very smart girl. She has a 4.0 GPA. She's valedictorian of her class, and she's just gotten word from her dream college that she has received a full ride scholarship. We have a college fund for her of about $250,000. When we found out about the scholarship, we agreed that we would still give her the money to pay for other things that she would need in college, such as housing and food, etc. Well, she came home yesterday kind of sad. I asked her what was the matter. She said that she was not going to go to college anymore. Apparently, her boyfriend Brian, 19 male, told her not to go anymore. Some background on Brian. His family is very well off, and his parents have never issued discipline on this child. I mean, he is very rude and disrespectful, and although he seems sweet to my daughter when they are alone, she'll complain that whenever they're out with friends, Brian is constantly putting her down and comparing her to Instagram models. Brian is currently enrolled in college, but he has no set course for his future. He's just rolling with the cards, as Sarah says. Some other background info is that my daughter is going to school for marine biology. Well, with what my daughter told me about their conversation, she was telling Brian about her full ride scholarship and how excited she was to finally go to school for marine biology, when he sat her down and told her to not go to college at all. He's never supported her dream of being a marine biologist and has always told her to go to college for a real job. He told her to wait for him here in town and don't worry about getting a job even, because his parents will support her, and that he didn't feel comfortable with her going to college out of state and so far away. He also said that it made him feel unmanly when she has a set course for her future which will give her a good life while he has none. After she told me what was going on, I didn't make a decision right away, but I knew that I wasn't going to just let my daughter throw away her future like this. She then asked me for her college fund so she could support Brian's dreams. What? So I took time to think, and I sat her down today. I told her that she could not have her college fund to spend on Brian. She started freaking out asking why, that it was her money, and I asked her to listen. I asked her if she actually could see a serious future with Brian in it. She said nothing the first time and then started crying. I asked her again, more gently this time, and she admitted no while still crying. I pleaded with her to please not throw away her future for someone with who she can't see herself having a life together. She then nodded and went up to her room for some time to think. From what I've learned, she broke it off with Brian. He has been calling non-stop, crying and begging to speak to her. I feel very guilty. My daughter really seemed to love this boy, and I feel like I ruined it, which might make me the a-hole, and this boy's feelings are seriously hurt. So, am I the a-hole? Yeah, OP, no, you are not the a-hole, and you really helped out your daughter. I don't know what kind of relationship Brian has with his parents, but if they always told him yes and spoiled the hell out of him, well, then this is a little monster of their own making. And also, the way he treats her in public, well, that's downright abusive. Putting her down and comparing her to those social media models who don't really exist because filters, that's absolutely wrong. And also requesting of her to give up her dreams so she can support his? He doesn't have an effing clue of what to do with his life, let alone his own dreams. And don't even get me started on his use of the word unmanly for her chasing her dream while he has none. I think he's actually confusing that term, unmanly, with insecure loser. OP, you did right by your daughter. That is your job. A job that apparently Brian's parents don't want to do. And what do you guys think? What is your judgment in this situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Spooky Armadillo says, No, the title does not paint you like an a-hole. It paints you as a responsible parent, and the first thing I thought was absolutely not. But then I read about halfway into your post, and I realized that I was right. You're absolutely not the a-hole. The truth of the matter is that Brian is toxic and abusive. She absolutely loves him, but he clearly doesn't love her because he's willing to wreck her future in order to feel in control. You did the right thing. You're a wonderful parent. And at the end of the day, most men will come and go in her life, but you'll always be there. Crazy Fur Lady says, no, you're a loving and caring parent. I'm serious. My parents couldn't tell you a thing about me as a person after the age of 6 besides a basic observation that they may get lucky enough to pay attention to. It sounds like you approached this with as much sensitivity as you could with her and didn't use anger or fear to communicate. You showed respect by letting her speak and then got your point across gently. She's 18 and every heartbreak sucks. She's known what you were saying for a while, it sounds like it. It actually sounds as though Brian has been abusing her emotionally and mentally as well as manipulating her. You helped her save herself. Now, call your phone carrier and block his number and any family and friends' numbers your daughter may have of his. Or better yet, please change your phone number. He's going to try to wear her down mentally, and the calls will keep coming, and from the sounds of the idiot, he isn't going to relent anytime soon. Wild River 7 says, not the a-hole. When my daughters were in high school, I made it very clear they were not going to choose a college based on where a boyfriend would be attending, and they would not be allowed to skip college to stay at home because of a boyfriend. These rules were in place because girls that we were acquainted with gave up college and scholarships to stay home with their boyfriends. A few years later, the girls were single moms working dead-end jobs with no education. The boyfriends were long gone chasing other girls. Additional information from OP's comments. Now that I've seen all of these comments reassuring me, I know for sure the answer, but the reason I thought I was an a-hole was probably a moment of weakness. I think I heard him crying on the phone and it hurt me a little, and I felt guilty for causing another human being to feel that way. But I was also angry because of how he treated my daughter, and so I'm not sure how I felt in those moments, but I felt like an a-hole for sure. Anyway, for now, we are just going to give her time since she's going through a rough time, but we were also trying not to leave her too alone. We've been bringing her snacks and odds and ends and asking if she wanted to talk, to which she would reply, not right now. We're trying to remind her that although she feels alone right now, she is not alone. As of this moment though, I'm trying to make sure that she doesn't completely shut herself off and that she's eating food and drinking water. We've also decided to offer her to go to therapy, with her consent of course. I would never force her to go if she doesn't wish to do so. I'm going to talk to her when she feels ready, but until she feels ready to talk, I'm going to keep reminding her that I am here for her whenever she needs me. And regarding the money, my husband and I don't plan on retirement for another 10 or 12 years, but we are about 1,000 or so from our ideal retirement. We didn't want to set ourselves or our daughter up for failure, so we tried our best to save for both funds. She has been responsible with other funds, and the way we have decided to set up her money is that we would have a set amount of money that she could have access to per month to pay for bills and everything, and we all agreed on this. We felt that this would be the best way to preserve the money. Okay, well, the community definitely agrees that OP is not the a-hole, and we got a little bit more context from OP. So now, let's move on with the update to see what happened next. My daughter came to eat breakfast with us this morning before going to school, and her father and I had a talk with her. We told her that we loved her and that we were here for her. She said thank you and that it meant a lot for her to have our support. Of course she does, because we will always love and support her. We made sure to tell her that. But I told her that I did not want to ever see Brian again, and she said the feeling was mutual. I told her of all the wonderful messages and comments you guys were sending her, and some of the advice you gave, and she is very grateful. We made sure to tell her that we know it's going to be hard, but to not give in to Brian's pressuring and to block him on everything. She said that she had already done so when she ended things and showed us her phone as proof, which she didn't need to. We weren't going to force her because we trust her. She went off to school and I called our phone provider to change our home phone number and my daughter's phone number, which I got her approval for. She called me while at school lunch, crying and begging me to come and pick her up. I was very confused as to why she couldn't just drive home in her car when she told me that Brian showed up during her lunch and he and some of his friends are blocking her from getting to her car and she is scared. I told her I was on my way, and before I left the house, I called the police non-emergency line and had them send officers over. Since the police station was closer to her school than our house, they got there first, and when I got there, Brian was in the back of a police cruiser. What happened was the cops pulled up and the rest of his friends ran off, but Brian refused to leave because he believed he was doing nothing wrong. And when the cops asked him to leave the property since he was not a student at the school, he got aggressive and attacked one of them and was going to be sent to the station. They asked me and my daughter if it was possible that we could go to the station to answer some questions, but that it was not mandatory. I told them no and that I just wanted to get my daughter home since she was still a crying mess. We got home and I sent her dad a text message about what had gone down, and he left work to head to the police station, very angry. He got home and told us that he was planning on pressing charges against Brian for harassment and that he wanted my daughter to file a restraining order. I told my husband to calm down since our daughter is going through such a hard time right now, and that when she is ready, we will discuss further details. We took our daughter out to dinner to treat her, which she greatly appreciated since we only really go out to dinner on holidays or super special occasions, so this was a big treat for her. We had another dinner outing planned to celebrate her scholarship, but this was just to cheer her up, and the scholarship dinner will be held at another time. We went home and watched a movie, and then I talked to my daughter about how she would feel about going on a little trip to tour her college town and get away for a while, and she happily accepted. The plan is still in motion, but it's all we have for now. Thank you all for your amazing advice, and my family greatly appreciates your support. Thank you for taking the time to help us even though we're strangers on the internet. I hope you all are doing as well as possible. Well, OP, the good thing is that your daughter is safe and she is going to try to move on. Although I personally wouldn't sleep on pressing charges like your husband wanted to. In any case, I hope she starts feeling better soon. Congratulations on the scholarship and all the best in her college future. Thanks for sharing, OP, and take care. Now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Pro Revenge, and it's by user It's Taco Tuesday, bitch. It's Taco Tuesday, bitch. I used to enter recipe competitions for fun as a bored housewife. I was good at finding them online, I had a system, knew what the promoters wanted, and I usually won. So some guy starts some kind of health and fitness website and runs a recipe competition to promote it. I do the thing, a Buddha bowl if you're wondering. And as usual, I am announced as the winner. Congrats OP, you've won $1,000. It's usually not a cash prize, but okay, awesome. Except he never comes good with the money and just ghosts me instead. I decided to send one last message and to move on with my life. I can use the recipe and photo again since it was never published. He finally responds and he's hostile. I'm like, sorry, what? And he proceeds to threaten me with goons, all like, I know people in Sydney who will F you up. Oh, he thinks I'm in Sydney. And I tell him to just forget it. I already accepted I'd never see the money. I start googling this guy and come to find he's a complete F-wit. The proper gym bro, tough guy with no social skills. I also discover he's opening a taco place in Sydney. I infiltrated his Facebook friends list with my Creeper account. I added a whole bunch of his friends and family first so I'd show as having friends in common, and then I used my new position to gather intel. I made a Google account with their mother's name and photo, I'm really that creepy, and left reviews saying his tacos tasted as someone farted directly into my mouth. Then I made a glitter bomb using a greeting card that opens landscape style with like a tissue paper pouch full of glitter glued to the insides and sent it to him at his restaurant. I googled his email address and found his post on Gumtree looking for a chef, LMAO. So I made a new email address and I'm like, I'm a friend of the most common Facebook friend's last name, family, and they mentioned you're opening a taco restaurant. I'm moving to Sydney. I was a chef at my uncle's Mexican restaurant. And do you have any jobs available? You do? Oh, how exciting! Will you please give me a chance? Great, I look forward to working for you. Every day I had a credible excuse not to show and milked that until he was just about done with my crap. Then I left a message with an employee, I can't come into work today because Taco Guy didn't give OP her prize for the recipe competition he ran on his failed website and then threatened her with violence. And then I waited for him to contact me. He was a little upset, and I confessed to everything. All the little mind Fs, all the petty crap, cancelled orders, all of it. He told me he'd pay me if I stopped. I declined the offer. I said I'd rather have won $1,000 worth of fun at his expense. Maybe next time don't threaten people with goons. I said I might not ever get bored of this, and the last thing I ever said, every time you have a bad day, you're going to wonder if I was somehow involved. Zany face. Wow, OP, your elaborate revenge really got under this jerk's skin. Good for you. Thanks for sharing, OP. And now, let's move on to the next post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Ignis Vespa. School Karen demands no time tolerance for students. She starts getting student complaints. I work in a culinary school that is really poorly managed by this Karen. She tends to do stuff that I easily solve by doing malicious compliances, but this is one that happened 2 days ago. All students need to wear full uniform, chef coat, chef pants, apron, small hat and black non-slippery shoes. This Monday, one of the students came without an apron nor his hat, so I denied him entrance to class. He went to complain with the Karen about this, and he also complained that I didn't check the shoes, which is true, as one of his classmates was in class without the required shoes. I told them that I'd start checking the shoes next day and he could take the class as long as he had his whole uniform. Next day before class I had to go pick up my new glasses, so I arrived 10 minutes later. I thought to myself it wouldn't be an issue, as I usually give 20 minutes of tolerance to students as I know some work and they need time to arrive. So I started to let the students in and I started checking the uniforms, including the shoes and soles. I ended up denying the entrance to 2 students for their shoes, and the one that complained the day before had his whole uniform, except the non-slippery shoes. His soles were worn out and cracked, so I couldn't allow that, so he went to complain again. This time, Karen went to the classroom to ask what would I consider non-slippery soles, so I asked a student to show her soles. I also told her that this student had no slippery shoes anymore and I couldn't let him in. She got mad and told me that classes needed to start at the starting time of class and that I couldn't take longer nor let anyone in after that time. I said alright and she left. Later that day I had another class and I decided to comply. I started the class on time with only 2 students and denied entry to everyone else even if they arrived 1 minute late, telling them that it was a new order from administration. About 6 students decided to go complain about that, and 10 minutes later, after starting classes, she went to the kitchen and told me that tolerance would be of 15 minutes and to allow the students to enter the class. She is starting another issue now, but it's in current development, so I'm not sure how I will end up complying. Well, OP, I guess Karen is now going back to letting you do things the way you were doing them before. Well done, OP, and thank you for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.